Do not concede, she wrote. It takes time for the army who is gathering for his back. Thomas urged Meadows to help the president stand firm. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history. The messages don't directly reference Justice Thomas or the Supreme Court, but show how Ginni Thomas sought to guide the president's strategy to overturn the election, urging Meadows to make Trump's controversial attorney, Sidney Powell, the lead and the face. On November 24th, Meadows wrote Thomas, quote, "This is a fight of good versus evil." Thomas replied, "Thank you, needed that. This plus a conversation with my best friend just now." It is unclear who Ginni Thomas was referring to. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas often refers to his wife this way.
I love being here with my bride, Virginia, who's a gift from God and my totally best friend in the whole world.
I think they might be onto something. I think Ginni Thomas might have been talking about her husband, Clarence Thomas, there in one of the many text messages that she sent to people in the immediate orbit of Donald Trump about how he can succeed in ending American democracy and overthrowing the results of the 2020 election. The wife of one of the longest standing Supreme Court justices, not only believing in every random conspiracy theory about the election that she happened to come across on 4chan or whatever, but actively communicating and getting into a conversation back and forth with incredibly powerful Republicans about it. Now, the text messages that were alluded to there were among the 2,320 that Mark Meadows provided the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack. The content of the messages between Thomas and Meadows, 21 sent by her, 8 by him, which if you were Ginni Thomas, you would realize is not a great ratio. But anyway, has not previously been reported. But there were these 29 messages, which Ellie Mistel, friend of the show, responded with this on Twitter, 29. Ugh. Anyway, if you could bring that up. But anyway, I want you to imagine, if we're talking about the SCOTUS, imagine if it turned out that Ketanji Brown Jackson had been like sending direct text messages about conspiracy theories during this or whatever, that the world would end. But anyway, Mark Meadows' lawyer says that these messages do exist, but they did not raise legal issues. Adrienne, I think they raise very specifically legal issues because she is the wife of Clarence Thomas. We are continually told that thinking that she might have been talking with him, that might be affecting him, is insane. What do you think about it?
Oh, I definitely think that there is an issue here. And also, I want to know, to what extent was she, could you say, a participant in this insurrection in terms of advocating, pushing, moving it forward? Because even pushing this big lie all the way up to the Supreme Court, mind you, where Meadows filed a supplemental brief in favor of it, and I believe they petitioned to Clarence Thomas for review specifically. You can't tell me that that's not going to affect you when your spouse is clearly out here in cahoots with everyone else. And the thing that also really gets me, and I've actually done this kind of little twisted analysis in my head, is she can't necessarily be forced to disclose things she said about her husband because of marital privilege. And so having that go like in loops, so to speak, in terms of they're not necessarily going to be forced to testify against each other and whatnot, it just makes me realize how incestuous and corrupt our government is, and that we really cannot trust it in any form or fashion.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you pointed that out. That is definitely true. What if they associate more as best friends? Does that potentially get around that issue of the marital exemption? Probably not.
No, probably not. No.
But anyway, look, she says in the message, I'm gonna go talk to my best friend. Unless during the pandemic, she got a new hobby and got a new best friend from that, I'm gonna need to see some receipts on that. I'm going to assume that it's Clarence Thomas. And I know you in the audience are thinking, I've listened to him not speak. I've seen the look on his face. How could he be anyone's best friend? But marriages are weird things, and it's not on me to judge. What I will say, though, is that while she is the very vocal one about these conspiracy theories and the big lie, and we'll get into some of the examples, let's not forget that the court allowed for, or basically blocked Trump's bid to stop certain documents from going to the January 6th Commission. Overwhelmingly, they stopped Trump from blocking it. It was an 8-1 vote. Clarence Thomas, knowing that he was going to be overruled, still tried to stop those documents from being handed over to the January 6th Commission. Is that disconnected? Is that not the result of a conversation? Maybe he just genuinely also wants to cover up what happened around January 6th, or maybe his best friend did actually get in his ear. I will say this, I can't prove anything yet. It's certainly something that should be looked into, but you are not crazy if you are worried about the connection here.
Nope, I don't think you're crazy at all. And also, you know what? Anybody with any semblance of decency would go ahead and just resign from their post on the Supreme Court. But decency hasn't been something we've seen in a long time. There is no sense of shame going on in Washington, no matter what direction you look in. And so we just know that what Clarence Thomas just got out of the hospital the other day after a week-long stay with flu-like symptoms. You know, the first thing he should be doing is writing a resignation letter to Chief Justice Roberts. But unfortunately, I'm sure he is going to go back to work with his chin held high, feeling perfectly fine, and act like, nope, nothing to see here. He has some kind of audacity. We've already seen that on full display, and now it's to our detriment as a nation.
Yeah, 100%. It's convenient, by the way, that I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's convenient that while all of this is going on, he's in the hospital with flu-like symptoms while she's out in the public with QAnon-like symptoms. So it's weird that he didn't have to comment on any of that. And I'm sure that he won't, but yeah, like I think it was Senator Wyden is now calling on him to recuse himself on any cases having to do with January 6th. Recuse himself? No, he should have already been recusing himself. He has proven that he is not unbiased. Get him the hell out of there. And just out of curiosity, like he's been on the court since what, like 92, 93? It's been a very long time. How long do we expect? Is his one of the names that's going around as maybe at some point it gets to retirement talk? What do you think about that?
Oh, it would be nice, but I couldn't see him necessarily retiring unless, hey, maybe there's some corrupt job waiting for him on the outside that's gonna be set up, kind of maybe, or something set up like a la Kennedy. But the thing is that, right now when you have Democrats holding court, it's not gonna happen, I don't think, because I really do think that Clarence Thomas believes so much in his Republican conservative right-wing angle that he will not get off that bench, especially when a Democrat is in control, unless he's carried out in a body bag.
I think you're 100% right, and I love that the very opportunistic claims of judicial activism that go around, never towards the right, they don't care, they like that. Like the biggest case of judicial activism is very carefully choosing when you retire or not. But they don't have a problem with that. They're perfectly fine with that. What does that have to do with your legal like ideology or like your legal theory? Like that isn't anything. It's just to produce a political outcome. Anyway, Thomas, like if you want to see more of the specifics of her text messages, they are out there. They're very worrying stuff. She talks about at one point, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit. Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals for sedition. That's insane stuff. Like that's not just like Thomas needs to have a talk with Ginni because she's trying to overthrow the government. He should be checking in on her because she's not well. Like if you believe not just that he should be arrested, but that he is being arrested, you have no attachment to reality anymore. And that should be something that any best friend should be worried about.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.